Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. I hope you all are having a good day today because today I'm going to do a presentation about public speaking. My name is Fania Taufiq and I'm from Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta with my student ID name L100204101. Let's jump right in. So what I'm going to be presenting in this presentation is here. First, we will study the definition of public speaking first to get an idea of what it exactly is, and then we will see the importance of it in life, and then the professions in which it is required. Also, good public speaking skills, which are very interconnected. Then, what I get from this public speaking class personally. Also, lastly, my hopes after this class. So first, what is public speaking? What do we reckon as public speaking? Well, public speaking is a form of communication carried out before an audience with the purpose of persuading the audience to act or think as we, the speaker, desires. Then, why is it so important? Why do so many people want to study or even teach public speaking? Well, public speaking holds an importance in every field of life. It is undeniable. It doesn't matter whether someone is a business owner or simply a curious learner like we are in university. But public speaking is known to have great importance in major roles in fields such as government or education as we know, as well as business. This is because words have the power to convince people, ranging from entertaining purposes to educative impacts, and spoken words are even more powerful than written words, although both are equally important. So the first importance of public speaking or the benefits we get from public speaking is first, better research skills. So before doing a public speaking, the speaker is required to do a research of pretty much everything. This is in fact the most important process. The speaker needs to understand the materials and their audience. First, the speaker have to have a perfect understanding of the materials, which is obtained from the correct sources because it should be, and whether or not the topic fits and the language will be understandable by the audience. The speakers in most cases also needs to provide visual aids to complement their public speech. On the other hand, the speakers must understand the audience. But how? When the speaker doesn't even know the audience, they have never even met, right? Well, this is why target is important. We call it a targeted audience. We need to make clear who this public speech is targeted to. Seeing the audience through various perspectives is needed. Maybe see them in a cultural perspectives, determine their average age, also what most of their professions are likely to be, what is the majority religion, so we can match our ways of presenting to them in order to be well received. By getting used to doing such research continuously, we are likely to develop a better research skill because, of course, we don't want to present false information, and of course, we want to be understood and perceived as credible. And a better research skill will be very useful in our academic life, for example, for our university papers, for assignments, but also for other purposes outside academia, right? Like, for instance, a research skill will increase our debate skill also, and then will also improve our public speaking in the next run. Second, public speaking improves our confidence. When starting out about public speaking, many people find it intimidating. But it is okay to start by trying. You don't have to instantly be perfect at it. In the process of learning public speaking, by continually improving this skill, people are likely to slowly develop their confidence a long time. It is due to the practicing that lessen the fear of the public speaking and as well as the fear of the audience in our imagination. Moreover, by practicing public speaking in other social settings, people will be more confident at carrying themselves while having a convincing talk. It also lessens anxiety or fear when speaking in front of people in general. Third, public speaking also gives us the ability to advocate for causes. Public speaking and all its processes will open our eyes to different causes, of course. There are so many causes to be fought for in our world, and words have the power to change minds through public speaking. Public speech, then, can be seen as a weapon to fight for the better of our worlds. Leaders or influencers usually use public speaking for various causes such as zero hunger and women rights, like women empowerment and climate change, and many more. We can advocate about a particular issue or cause that we feel strongly about. One way to do this is through public speaking to build an impact. By doing this, we will have the skill of public speaking, not only for entertainment but also for education and persuasion, because it involves changing people's perspectives about these issues that we care about and demanding a better change to our world for other people, for the sake of other people who doesn't even have a voice, or to simply give light to issues that not many people may care about. And then it improves our communication skills. We may improve our control over emotions, which is heard by our tone and our volume and our body language when speaking. And through building better communication, we may get a greater social influence. By building better communication, there is a higher possibility of meeting new people from a different range of backgrounds. And then lastly, it enhances our listening ability. So speaking practice starts from listening practice. In order to be better our public speaking, in order to better our public speaking, first we need to listen to many examples and take lessons from them. This enables us to enhance our listening skill as we open our minds also to many different discussions. We may start to take notes of how other people speak, their pace, to take notes of their control of emotion, the choice of words, the body language, and the list goes on. We can also learn from their mistakes. And then we will see public speaking in professions. Public speaking is required in all professions actually, yet not all people in these professions have good public speaking skills. This is why public speaking is important to be studied and practiced for the skill to bloom and the desired goals to eventually be met. So first, we have professors and teachers. Professors and teachers, they are people who are constantly presenting us with new information, and those who do thorough preparations for it and are even experts on the topics. And then second, there are politicians. Politicians or political leaders, they are always required to make the public's wishes come true, but they also have their own ideas which they have to present. As a society, we want to be heard and want our aspirations to be made into policies. And as politicians, they hear us and present to us their views of our aspirations. In this case, we become their audience, and they do thorough research of the audience and the aspirations. They figure out whether or not the audience is likely to believe their ideas based on where their audience live, what most of them are working at, how's the culture, what is the majority religion or race, and many considerations. And then third, we have a keynote speaker who is someone who also needs to have great public speaking skills. A keynote speaker is a speaker in events such as seminars or conference who present their materials to the audience as the key of these events. They are a part of why people sign up for these events. People sign up to see them, to hear their materials. A keynote speaker is someone who is credible in their presentation and speaks from their own experience and knowledge. They also often include motivational or inspirational elements to move the audience, and these speakers need to be engaging with the audience in order for their ideas to be well received. Well, and then fourth, there is an MC. MC is someone who is responsible for the way an event goes. So MCs is closely linked to keynote speakers. MCs must have good and even interesting public speaking skills because they are the ones being in control of how the event is going. MCs, just like a keynote speaker, must always consider the audience all the time and be communicative with them. And then lastly, there's comedians. Yes, comedy is a part of public speaking for entertainment purposes. Comedians actually practice their jokes and research the audience to fit their views. Because if they don't know their audience, how's the joke going to be taken? It is crucial. Research is crucial for comedians. Comedians also need to not overstep boundaries in entertaining the audience to stay funny and acceptable. This is why research is very important in comedy even. Then we will see an example of good public speaking and analyze it a little.
Whenever or wherever a few seek to threaten those who look, dress, or pray differently, many others stand up and say, no, not here, not in our community, not to our neighbors. Time after time, when intolerance rears its ugly head, Canadians rise up to reject it. We prove clearly and unflinchingly that we are better than that. I can share with you a few recent examples. One day after the terrible attacks in Paris, a mosque in Peterborough, Ontario, was set on fire, a suspected hate crime. In response, the community rallied and raised more than $110,000 in 2 days to help the Muslim community rebuild. United in faith, members of local Christian and Jewish communities literally opened their doors to give their Muslim neighbors a place to pray. Those are Canadian values.
So, as you've just heard, that was a short example of public speaking by the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. In that speech, he highlighted diversity as the strength and value of his people and encouraged that behavior, encouraging unity. In speaking, he had a good control over his talking pace and tone, and thus highlight the emotion he tried to portray, also helped by his facial expressions where his body language wasn't there. Through this bit of speech, we can hear that it was nicely structured and engaging as he reflects his people by also including minorities in the speech through his perspective. This person is also highly credible and is known as Canada's inclusive Prime Minister. Of course, if we want the desired effect to take place, which is our goals as a speaker, we want to study good public speaking and maybe try out different methods. But also, we would also want to study public speaking mistakes to prevent ourselves from making the same mistakes. Then the next part of my presentation, what I learned and my hopes. I got to know that public speaking is vast, actually. It is not always a kind of speech our presidents do in front of us, nor is it always in the form of presentation before a huge audience. But public speaking is there when we present a material to a class, when we do stand-up comedy in gatherings in front of our friends or family. Even in a debate competition, we do public speaking by presenting our point of view for a few minutes for persuasion purposes. Then public speaking can't be talked about without talking about confidence as well. Countless of people are so afraid of public speaking and get all anxious and sweaty from the challenge of it. Yet during this very process, public speaking teaches us confidence. Nervousness can be seen as a motivation, as a reminder that we care deeply about our materials and our audience. It can be seen as a sign that we respect them. Over time, we may lose or lessen this feeling of nervousness or anxiety before doing a speech through practice and getting used to it. Confidence is needed to be present in our voice so we sound sure of our ideas, and our behavior to be convincing with our body language or facial expressions. Our confidence is also reflected in how we sound and how we behave before our audience. We may tremble or shake, yet we have to mask it with confidence, just like how the saying goes, fake it till you make it. Then we will slowly get comfortable by it. Maybe try to focus more on the material instead, put more focus on it. Or we can train our brain to think to replace that anxiety with excitement. I also get to learn the importance of public speaking skills. This class teach me that public speaking is far more important than I thought before. I used to think that I could get by without public speaking, that public speaking is a special talent for certain people, but then I realized that isn't the case. In my life, I will face many interviews in which this skill will be required. I will also face more presentations, some very important ones in university, but also my work later. I also realized that I also have always wanted to be a good speaker for a good cause, maybe for volunteering or for a youth conference or organizational meetings. Then I get to realize that public speaking gets better when we do a complete preparation and try out different methods, explore. I found out that it is completely fine to rely on script and read it exactly as it is on the script without forgetting on other aspects of public speaking. And it is actually my type of method. Preparation also lessens nervousness, and on top of that, every public speaker, whether nervous or not, need to prepare their speech beforehand. Preparation is done very thoroughly, very carefully, and continuously. Next is my hopes in the future out of this class. My first wish is to improve my voice. Why? What about my voice? Well, I want to be able to sound more convincing when I talk, especially during important meetings and interviews because it will play a huge part in convincing people of who I am and what my intentions are. I would like to improve my volume when I speak because I find that it is connected to my personality and because it has always been a sign of low confidence to other people and I don't want to mirror that image of me when I speak. Then second, it is natural public speaking. I know I still got a long way to go, but I also think that as long as I keep practicing and not get intimidated by public speaking and see it as a fun exercise instead, I will be able to keep improving. And one day, some months or even years later, it will come naturally to me. The third one is control over emotion, pace, and body language. Sometimes I find that I get carried by my emotions too much, that I forget the pace and start talking as fast as I like. Other times, I find myself get blank when I try to talk, which is why I want to be able to do speech in natural behavior. It is uncomfortable when realizing we make such mistakes. I also found out through recordings of my assignments that my body language is repetitive. I want to be able to do even an emotional speech without trembling over my emotion and still be in control of my pace and body language so I can get my point across clearly. I wish to be I wish to better my choice of words as well in terms of emotion. Well, that's all from my presentation. Thank you very much. Feedbacks are highly appreciated. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.